Hello, I hope you are doing well. This is part 1 of my Devlog series for a tower defense game I am currently developing using Unity. I have divided this video into sections for better organization and would be providing with timestamps below in case anybody wants to jump sections. And without further ado, let's get started. In this section, I would be talking about what would be included in the game. As I mentioned, it would be a tower defense game. It would also be having multiple levels with a focus on the story as well. The game would include a variety of towers and multiple classes of enemies. I've seen in a lot of tower defense games that use heroes as controllable units with skills and powers to defend along with the towers. I wanted to expand on that. The player would be able to choose a hero in this game and would be able to expand and customize on its inventories and skills. I'm also designing the hero aspects, and hence this devlog doesn't include any of the hero system. In this section, we would be talking about towers. You cannot have a tower defense game without placing towers and having towers. These buildings protect your base and fend off waves of enemies. In this game, we currently have two types of towers. One is the single target tower shown in the top section of the screen, and the other is an area effect or a splash effect type of tower shown in the bottom section of the screen. In these examples, the cubes shown on the right hand side of the screen are the destination points for your enemies or your AI, and the white capsules are the enemies with a small health bar on the top of their heads to depict the amount of health they have. And their only goal right now in this examples is to spawn at one point and try to reach the opposite end or the target location without dying. For the single target tower or for any tower, we have an area of attack called as the kill zone. So the tower detects when an enemy walks into that section or that kill zone area, and it starts attacking it by shooting projectiles. The tower also detects if the enemy dies or if it leaves the kill zone area, and it then starts to search for a new target, as shown in the example above. So the second type of tower is the splash tower. It also has the kill zone similar to the single target tower, but the projectile fire does an area effect damage instead of a single target damage. As you can see in the example, we have two enemies getting spawned and moving side by side to the destination, and the tower is hitting both of these enemies at once. This tower would be used more in crowd control type of scenarios. Apart from the major differences, these two towers help in the game balance as well. You can't have an all-powerful tower able to do everything. Each tower has their own roles, and the single target tower's role is to fire projectiles, and these projectile deals high amount of damage to the enemy, whereas the splash tower affects an area dealing low damage to multiple enemies. I do plan to expand these towers further and also have a more tower as well. I also plan to add variety to these towers, like some towers would be able to fire faster, whereas some would have a low firing rate. But all that's in the future, and this is what I currently have for this devlog. This section shows how a level in the game is made. A level is a collection of tiles the players can or can't interact with depending upon the type of the tile. I would be using a 3D grid based system and have created a 3D tile editor tool for this game. You can check out the video where I talk about the tool, a link would be provided in the description. The player interaction on tiles will open up a UI with buttons to select and place the type of tower. Currently I have two types of tile, interactable tile which the player can interact with and place towers, and the walkable tile which the AI uses to walk on its nav mesh. This section is pretty small. It's for showing the enemy spawner. Each enemy would be spawned in groups, and do not confuse it with waves. A single wave of enemy would be constituting of multiple groups, whereas each group would have enemies being spawned in small intervals. The group size can be from 1 to n, and in this example we have 3 groups spawning 3 enemies in each one In terms of the game, imagine a low HP group of enemies, let's say rats for now, that get spawned in a group or a herd and try to attack at once. These enemies are a perfect target for splash towers, shown in the tower section, and a boss that spawns will be considered as a group of one enemy. And the reason for this choice of enemy spawner is to add more control to the enemies being spawned instead of just random spawns, and giving me more power to balance each level or each wave. I'm currently working on developing these systems, which would be included in the upcoming devlogs. A player hero system, which would be a controllable unit for the player with special skills and abilities. A combat system, which would depict a simple combat between the hero unit and the enemy AI. Character states and animations. All characters in the game would have different animations for their actions, and a state machine would be developed to incorporate both. I will touch base on these topics in the next video. This concludes the devlog. Any feedback and questions about the game are greatly appreciated, and I will do my best to answer all of them. Thank you so much for watching.